Welcome to India's Legal Legacy, podcast based on real property cases resolved by our specialized team over the years.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping into something I know a lot of you deal with, managing complex assets from overseas, specifically NRI real estate in India.
Yeah, we're looking at a really fascinating case. It's about a client, Mr. Arun, who's based in London. He inherited this pretty substantial property portfolio in Mumbai.
And we're not talking about one small apartment.
No, not at all. It was 3 separate flats and a bungalow.
Yeah.
And they were all rented out. So the core challenge for him was, how do you manage all of that? The rentals, the maintenance, the legal registrations, the taxes from thousands of miles away.
Right.
The solution really revolved around appointing a professional team from India's legal legacy who used a power of attorney to manage everything seamlessly.
And that coordination piece is so important. We should mention the team at India's legal legacy, they really make a point of working on international time. They're proactive, so you're not waiting days for a reply.
And you get status updates at every single milestone, which for an owner so far away is everything.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's unpack this. What was the immediate boots-on-the-ground complexity of managing 4 properties when he couldn't physically be there?
Well, the first big thing wasn't just logistics, it was legal jurisdiction. Trying to handle things like rental registrations from London is, it's pretty much impossible.
So that's where the legal stuff kicks in right away.
Exactly. The team's first move, and this was crucial, was to secure a really robust power of attorney, a POA.
And that POA, it isn't just a piece of paper for convenience, is it? It's the mechanism that actually lets them act on his behalf for things like state-specific rules, right? Yeah. Biometric verification and so on.
Precisely. The POA essentially turned the remote client into a local entity. It allowed the team to handle rental registrations, police verifications, all of that on his behalf.
Okay, but that does raise a good question. A POA grants a lot of power. How did they ensure accountability and, transparency for Mr. Arun?
That's where the process and the constant updates come in, which leads right into the next phase.
Yeah.
The actual property management.
Right, so we have the legal foundation. How did they make sure the properties were actually making money? And I guess more importantly, how did they avoid the nightmare of bad tenants, which is a huge risk for remote landlords?
So the property management cycle they set up was really designed for long-term value. It wasn't just about getting someone in quickly.
Okay.
Potential renters were only chosen after some really deep background checks. We're talking national ID systems, credit checks, much more than the standard process.
And what about the properties themselves?
This is the part I find so smart. Every single time a tenancy ended, the team fully renovated the property, made it ready to be rented again.
Wait, so a full renovation every time? That's not just patching up a few scuffs on the wall.
No, it was strategic. It ensured the properties kept their value, which let them command premium rents in a really competitive market like Mumbai. So instead of the assets aging and the rent dropping, they were actually improving.
That makes perfect sense, maximizing the yield. Which brings us to the biggest complication, the money. How did they bridge that financial gap, getting rental income from India into a bank account in London?
Right, and this is where you move from property management into financial regulation. For transparency, the team collected the deposits and the monthly rents and put them directly into the client's NRO account.
Non-resident ordinary account.
Exactly. And using an NRO account is critical because it's specifically for handling income you earn in India, like rent.
That distinction, NRO versus NRE, that's such a valuable takeaway for anyone listening. Okay, so to manage that whole international income and tax side, the team brought in a professional chartered accountant.
They absolutely had to. The regulatory burden for NRIs is just immense. The CA's job was deep. They managed things like tax deducted at source or TDS on the rent, and they looked at any tax treaties to avoid double taxation.
So the CA wasn't just filing forms. They were basically the financial risk shield for Mr. Arun.
Pretty much. They calculated the final tax liability, handled all the accounting, and then, only after all the returns were filed and compliance was met, was the final repatriable amount transferred directly to Mr. Arun's account in London.
It's a truly holistic approach then. You've got the POA as the legal key, the strategic renovation cycle to protect the asset, and then the professional tax accounting to make it all work financially.
And if you zoom out, the whole process was designed for this one thing, to give NRIs a completely hands-off service. That coordination across time zones, the milestone updates, it all removes the stress that usually comes with managing property from a distance. It gave him real peace of mind.
A complete end-to-end solution.
Yeah. And that raises a final interesting thought for you to take away. Given this level of service, from tenant selection all the way to tax filing and the final transfer, what kind of potential pitfalls did this team effectively preempt for Mr. Irwin? Just think about the common nightmares of remote ownership, like fraudulent tenants, property encroachment, or, getting into serious trouble over tax obligations is something to really mull over.
If this episode helps simplify legal property matters for you, do share with someone who might benefit. We also love to hear your thoughts, your comments, with your questions or case experiences. Don't forget to follow for more case solutions from India's Legal Legacy team. Until next time, stay legally empowered